There is a silence that no one dares to break, a silence that we carry like a weight, hidden between the beating of the heart and the sighs of the night. It is the silence of desire, this deep, burning need that we dare not name, let alone confess. And yet, he is there. He lurks in the shadows of our prayers, sits at the feet of our rugs, and crosses our thoughts when loneliness becomes too heavy. We talk about patience, faith, submission to Allah, but rarely about this intimate and constant battle, that of sexual desire. Not in its pure and blessed form, intended for the context of marriage, but in its raw, imperious, sometimes devastating version. The one that takes root in the flesh and climbs to thought, to the imagination. The one we try to bury under ablutions, without always succeeding. Why is it so hard to talk about how you really feel? Why does the simple act of desire make us ashamed, when this desire is a creation of Allah? Why does this physical need sometimes become a spiritual test, a cross to bear in silence, out of sight, far from public discourse, but never far from the gaze of Allah? Few dare to talk about it, because the admission of this desire is often interpreted as a weakness, an impurity. So we keep quiet. We suffer in silence. We struggle in the dark, with only a painful awareness of what is allowed and what is not. But this silence is not a secret to him who hears even what is not spoken. This desire is no surprise to the one who created us from clay and breath. Allah knows. He knows what your heart hides, what your body demands, what your soul endures. He knows the struggle you refuse to admit. He knows the tears you hold back. So the question is no longer, does Allah know? But rather, what do you do with what He knows? 2. Understanding the origin of desire, the noble test of the body. Sexual desire is not an abnormality. It's not a fault. It is not a poison that must be eradicated. It is a part of us, anchored in our human nature, placed by Allah Himself as an element of our earthly ordeal. This is not a trap, but a reminder. We are not angels, made only of light, nor beasts, slaves to instinct. We are in between. And what sets us apart is our ability to choose. Sexual desire is therefore a divine creation, a noble, powerful, and useful force when channeled. In the context of marriage, it becomes worship. It purifies, unites, protects. But outside this framework, it can become all-consuming. This is why faith, sabr, and the consciousness of God are necessary, to discipline this fire without putting it out, to use it without getting burned. It is crucial to distinguish two realities. There is the natural need, written in our genes, which pushes us to seek intimacy, tenderness, human connection. And then there is the impure temptation, the one that feeds on images, fantasies, prolonged solitude, and behaviors normalized by a society that sexualizes everything. One is sacred energy, the other a destructive illusion. Modern psychology confirms what ancient wisdom has taught for centuries. Uncontrolled sexual frustration can lead to stress, anger, isolation, and loss of self-esteem. Loneliness becomes a fertile ground for thoughts that stray from the remembrance of Allah. Social pressure adds to this a feeling of inadequacy. Why am I still alone? Why is it so easy for others? These questions haunt hearts and weaken faith. And yet, the answer is there, simple and clear. The believer does not succumb to instinct, he disciplines it. He does not stifle his need, he directs it. He does not run away from his reality, he offers it to Allah. He understands that this impulse can become an ascension if he chooses to rise instead of giving in. What you feel is not shameful, but what you do with it can be. 3. The ordeal hidden behind the pleasure, the lie of the shaitan. Desire in itself is not a fault, but it's coveted territory, a breach that shaitan monitors carefully. He knows the flaws. He knows that most human beings do not fall in an instant. So he doesn't push violently. He whispers. He doesn't tell you, disobey Allah. He tells you, just once. It's not that bad. He doesn't push you to jump. He whispers to you that flying would be better. This is how the trap begins. It all starts with a look,
a picture, a banal scene, a detail. Then this look becomes thought. A repeated thought becomes an internal film. You relive the scene, you nourish it. Your heart starts to beat faster, your breathing changes. Thought becomes emotion, emotion becomes desire, and if the desire is not cut off by dhikr or prayer, it becomes action. And this action, if it takes you away from Allah, it quickly becomes regret. A regret that sets in like a slow poison, eating away at inner peace. This is the cycle that Shaitan maintains, not by force, but by persuasion. He does not make strong believers fall. He wears out their vigilance. He lulls you into justifications. You are human. You are alone. You can repent afterwards. But what he doesn't tell you is the weight of emptiness you will feel afterwards. This heavy silence after having disobeyed. That moment when you turn off your phone, close your screen, wipe away a tear that no longer falls, and you whisper, "Why did I fail again?" He doesn't speak to you from that inner voice that doesn't judge you, but that reminds you of what you're really worth. This voice that says, "You weren't weak, you just forgot your greatness with Allah." Because the truth is there, you are tested where you are strong. You don't fight for nothing. This desire that you feel, this tension in your body, this difficulty in resisting, all this is seen, heard, known by Allah. Nothing escapes Him, not even this silent battle that you experience every day. What many despise, Allah exalts. When you look away in fear, when you refuse an invitation to the illicit, when you choose to suffer for a moment rather than taste the forbidden, you are winning. What people do not see, Allah records. And He loves those who prefer to disappoint Him in the moment, so as not to betray Him in eternity. Allah knows you are struggling, and this inner struggle is worth 1,000 mechanical prayers. The moment of loneliness. When you cry after the act, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The room is dark, silent. All we can hear is the hum of a refrigerator in the distance and the light patter of rain against the window. He is there, sitting on the edge of his bed, elbows resting on his knees, head in his hands. He's not crying yet. His eyes are dry, but his heart is drowned. His fingers are trembling. He looks at his phone, still on, a video he never wanted to see, or maybe he wanted to see, but would have preferred to forget. The regret is instantaneous, brutal. Nausea rises. He wants to go back, erase the last minutes. But time does not return, and the angels have already written. He whispers into the void, "Why did I do it again?" No response, just silence. A silence that hurts, a silence that screams. He gets up slowly, walks towards the bathroom. Each step is heavy, as if his legs carry a shame that he can no longer bear. He turns on the tap, lets the cold water run, splashes it on his face, as if to awaken his soul. But nothing erases the feeling of dirt he feels inside. Do I deserve His forgiveness again? This question eats away at him. He asked it 1,000 times, and yet he always comes back to this same fall, this same trap, this same injury, and there, in this bathroom bathed in shadows, he falls to his knees. Not in front of a screen, not in front of a temptation, but in front of Allah. For the first time this day, perhaps this week, he is no longer in the facade, more in character. He's just him, weak, breeze, ashamed. But it's there, in this shame, let something real begin. There is no more mask, no more justification, no more pride. Just a bare heart facing the one who already knows everything. He doesn't even know what to say. He does not know long invocations. He doesn't speak Arabic. He does not quote verses. He just says, "Ya Allah, Jamal." And Allah hears, and Allah understands, and Allah responds even in silence. This moment, this fragment of the night when no one sees, no one listens, no one judges, this is where the healing begins, where sincerity is born, there that proximity is woven. Because it is not in perfection that we approach Allah, it is in the fall when we choose to get up. The angels record your deed, yes, but they also record your tear.
And sometimes, just one sincere tear erases mountains of sins. It is in this moment of solitude, when nothing holds together, that the true relationship with Allah is born. Not in the pride of works, but in the humility of recognized faults. The call for change, coming back without being perfect. The biggest lie that Shaitan whispers to weary hearts is this: you are not worthy to return to Allah. And many believe it, because they have fallen too many times. Because they prayed and then gave up. Because they promised to change, then fell back into the shadows. So they give up, not because they no longer believe in Allah, but because they no longer believe in themselves. But the truth, the only truth, is that the return to Allah is not reserved for the pure, but for the broken. He never said, "Return to me when you are blameless." He said, "Return to me, as you are, as you feel, with your wounds, your weaknesses, your regrets, and your weariness." He doesn't wait for your perfection, He waits for your heart. The power of sincere tawbah exceeds anything one can imagine. It is not a mechanical act. It is a silent cry of the soul. It's that moment when you stand between shame and hope, hands raised to the sky, and you say, "Ya Allah, I'm not perfect, but I want to change. Not for people, not for image, just for you." The soul is like a foggy window. It's powerful steps, young, not to lose weight, to purify your eyes, your body, your heart. Fasting breaks the invisible chains of the soul. Stay away from visual temptations. Every image, every impure scene that you voluntarily avoid is a victory. Even if no one sees it, Allah sees it. Fill your heart with dhikr. The remembrance of Allah is a light. When it is constant, it pushes the darkness to flee, even the most rooted. But above all, don't run towards change as if you were going to achieve it tomorrow. Walk calmly, one step after another. Fall, get up, slow down if necessary, but don't stop. Because transformation does not come from a shock, but from a tender and silent constancy. And remember, you won't get through it by force, but by consistency. And in each step, each effort, each discreet tear, Allah to tend. Not at the peak of perfection, but right at the place where you finally decide to return to Him. 6. The power of Allah's love, stronger than your desire if you knew. If you knew how much Allah loves you even when you fall, even when you weaken, even when you fall back into what you thought you left behind. If you knew the mercy He extends to you even when you feel unworthy, you would fall into prostration, not out of fear, but out of love. Out of pure recognition of being loved, even at the depths of sin, even at the height of error. Envy is not your identity. It is not the summary of your being. What you feel, this fire that sometimes rises within you, this tension that seems uncontrollable, it's just a passage, a test. It doesn't define you. You are more than that. You are a soul who yearns for the light, even if the dust of the world tries to keep you away from it. You are a noble creature, endowed with will, and even when you fall, even when you give in, the simple fact of regretting proves that you are not lost. There is a secret beauty in those who struggle, an invisible light in their silent efforts. This brother who looks away when no one is looking at him. This sister who cries after praying with difficulty. This heart that says no to immediate pleasure, even if everything in it screams yes. They are the hidden heroes, not the perfect ones, but the persistent ones, those who fall and come back, again and again. There is powerful wisdom. Some will have paradise not by their actions, but by their sincerity in the effort. Because they gave everything with a true heart, even if their hands were trembling. Because they loved Allah in their weakness, not only in their strength. And you? What do you do with this love? Do you understand it? Do you really feel it? Or do you continue to believe that you must be blameless to deserve His tenderness? No. Allah already loves you, and more. He sees your struggle. So, the next time the urge rises, the next time the fire in you becomes heavy, close your eyes. and imagine Allah observing you with mercy, not with anger, not with rejection, but with this love that surpasses everything the world can offer. 7. Spiritual closure, a silent invocation for tried hearts. O Allah, you who see beyond my gestures, you who hear the sighs that I hold back, you who know the fire that I carry and that I hide. I come to you without mask, without strength, without defense. I come to you as I am, with my falls, my weaknesses, my contradictions. I come to you with this unstable heart, which sometimes beats too hard for what it should not love. And yet, he continues to seek you. O you who created desire in my body, don't let Shaitan chain him to my doom. Make it noble, useful, sacred. Make it a bridge to you, not a wall between you and me. O Rahman, when my eyes wander, bring my heart back. When my thoughts are lost, bring me back with a breath, with a prayer, with a discreet reminder. Make my soul prefer you, even when the body calls for something else. I am not asking you to take the test away from me, but I beg you to strengthen me. I don't ask you to be perfect, but to be true, sincere, and never far from you. O Allah, you know what my heart desires. But I ask you what my soul needs. Give me what lifts me up, even if it makes me cry. Keep away from me what destroys me, even if it makes me dream. And if I fall again, take me by the hand. Lift me up in silence. Wipe away my shame with your light, and whisper to my heart that you have never stopped loving me. Return to this invocation when your soul wavers. Come back to it when your desires take over. Come back to it every time your heart trembles. And remember, it is not in the fall that everything collapses. It is in forgetting Allah that everything is lost.